Good morning and welcome back to Alex Talking. Last night I saw Masters of the Universe, and this is a little bit different than a typical blockbuster, which is a little embarrassing once we start talking about the movie, but I'll tell you something. I've been looking forward to this movie for years, like such a long time, because I grew up playing with the Masters of the Universe toys and watching the cartoon because my mom really liked it. Which is, a little bit unexpected. My mom and my uncle really liked it, so I was raised on it and really enjoyed the original cartoon. Really enjoyed the Kevin Smith one from a few years back whenever I was in middle school and high school. I thought that was really well done. And every year, whenever you would look at the movie release schedule, you would see Masters of the Universe on it. I, at a certain point, stopped thinking this movie would ever actually come to fruition because it just never did, even though it was supposed to come out every December. And Mattel made this now, obviously, because of the success of Barbie. That really got their juices for the filmmaking craft flowing, I suppose. And I very clearly see that's how this finally got made. Because at first I thought, wow, Travis Knight is a solid option, you know? He made Kubo and the Two Strings, and he works with Leica, is what he's mostly known for, but I know him for making Bumblebee, which, as much as I prefer all the Michael Bay movies to Bumblebee, is a very interesting, different take on doing a Transformers movie, and much better than the one that came out, Rise of the Beast. So it's a successful take on doing something different with Transformers, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I was interested to see what he would do with another, children's toy, primarily, property that you got to find a heart for to make a movie. And while this movie certainly will find its audience, because if I can probably say, no, this is difficult, because I would say I would like this if I grew up in this era. Because I was going to say if I was a kid, but like this is such a distinctly 2026 movie. This is not the type of He-Man movie that would have happened if they made it in 2004, you know? This is an out-and-out comedy, the same way Barbie is, that has a message and an uplifting message, but it is so bogged down in a genuinely profoundly unfunny script. And unfunny acting choices, unfunny characters. There's stuff like where I'm like, what's going on with the Man-at-Arms character? Because I know Idris Elba isn't that terrible of an actor, but every line delivery is fucking awful. And it's not that good of a script, but it's not that bad, probably. So, like, what is the formula that just makes every, like... I know Camila Mendes isn't that bad of an actress, you know? I've seen her in, like, Do Revenge. Every line delivery comes out of this. Like, her, Alison Brie, they felt like they're cardboard cutouts just being forced to act with green screen. Jeff from Bottoms, Nicholas Galitzine, our He-Man here, completely innocent, because I have no idea how you go about writing a character like He-Man and making it like a soft boy, like, woke 2026 joke. It's so weird. Obviously, like, it doesn't need to just be a mindless action movie either. Elements of actual story, message, all that, it's fine. Doing it the way it's done here, and by trying to cover it with unfunny joke after unfunny joke, really made the 2 hour and 20-minute runtime a complete slog. I mean, I was bored to death watching this. My wife, who agreed to go see it because she loves me, and She thought the trailer looked fun when we saw it at Cheap Detective. She liked Nicholas Galitzine in Cheap Detectives. We love Bottoms. So she was like, yeah, I'll go see He-Man with you. She hated it. She fell asleep in the middle of it. Can't blame her because it is so boring and just really disappointing because, like I said, after years and years and years of wondering what something would be, and then it comes out and it's a weird frame rate action movie with disgustingly awful CGI. Like, if you're gonna make this movie, at what point of the process does anyone look at the action and say, yes, it looks cool? At what point of the process does anybody look at the cat talking and say, that voice fits and the cat looks okay? Like, to me, the way this movie looks is unreleasable. But that's just the modern state of filmmaking. At least the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which I would say is on the exact same level of this, which is extremely disappointing to me. If you saw my review of that, you know why. But at least that one looked decent in some shots. It looked like a television show, but it also had puppets and it also had some practical effects. That's what that movie had going for it. That's another movie where there is very, very, very little that I can find on a genuine, like, objective level that's a positive and not a negative, except for that. In this movie, you have Skeletor. Skeletor is I mean, they put everything into how Skeletor looks in this movie. They put everything into how Skeletor looks in this movie. Because obviously, how do you top Frank Langella from the 1987 version? You just outdo Skeletor. And for modern CGI creations, I'm going to put Skeletor from this movie right up there with Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean. Not nearly as good or compelling or blah, 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 anything like that. I'm talking strictly from the fact that this is an entirely CGI creation brought to life, walking around and talking. Skeletor looks fucking amazing. Just absolutely amazing. Like, in my genuine opinion, flawless. Like, of what Skeletor could look like, maybe the eyes should have glowed a little more. Otherwise, flawless. Jared Leto's voice of Skeletor, great. I thought he was great. I prefer a little more of a high-pitched Skeletor, but that's the type of thing where whenever you're reinventing it, it's like he doesn't need to be a high-pitched voice. I thought what they did with Skeletor was really good. It's just what they did with He-Man was so uncompelling that, like, the way that Skeletor was a villain wasn't even interesting. So at the end, like, you're getting him, like, in a gym wearing a Skeletor Nike shirt, pumping iron, and it's like, yeah, because that's the fucking character He-Man is in this movie. I thought it'd be really difficult for this to be a just genuinely worse adaptation of Masters of the Universe in the 1987 one, but it is. I mean, it objectively doesn't have that feel to it, or the genuine core and heart to it. It has the surface level everything. It is in Eternia for the second act, but the actual core and heart of Masters of the Universe is all washed away with a 2026 gloss of what Masters of the Universe would be. If that would work for you, you're going to laugh at it. All the jokes are going to land for you. The neckbeard next to me absolutely fucking loved every second of the movie. Laughed at every single joke. Kept going, oh shit, when bad things would happen. It played. It played to the very, very, very sold out Big Show early access theater we had here in Denver. It played. I'm not going to pretend it didn't. I found it a little weird that they were like pussy jokes and there were kids in the theater sitting next to my wife. I had a 45-year-old to my left. She had two kids and their grandma to the right. So I think it shows the range that this movie can appeal to. I did not really like this movie. I would put it above something like The Mandalorian and Grogu or The Devil Wears Prada 2, even, for example, of bad blockbusters that have come out recently this year. But it's worse than something like Mortal Kombat 2 or Mario Galaxy. And I mean that because even though people say that those are movies for people who just like those things, like, and I like those things, I like Masters of the Universe. I really didn't care for this movie all that much. I'd give it a 2.4 out of 5. There is some decent action. Did anyone else notice that what I mean whenever I say that the frame rate with the action, it makes it all just look so, like, video gamey. I don't know, man. Just disappointing filmmaking, and I did not expect that coming off of Bumblebee. But it is what it is. It is one of those franchise starters where I would absolutely go see a sequel, and I would absolutely still trick myself into, because I'm a Masters of the Universe fan, saying, I hope that this one fixes all the problems of the last one, even though it's probably just going to double down on all the humor. That's the type of thing, I guess, I really understand. I really understand people who don't like the Michael Bay Transformers, even though I love them, whenever they say they don't like them because of the comedy. Because, like, I sat there and I didn't laugh at a single joke for 2 hours and 20 minutes, which was painful. And there were some times where, even though I didn't laugh out loud, I thought what Skeletor was saying or doing was a little bemusing. But most of the time, any other joke, especially with, like, unfortunately, Man at Arms, poor Evil Lyn, He-Man, Teela, everything was falling flat. The only thing that audibly got a reaction out of me was when Teela called Battle Cat a pussy. So, yeah, I just think that this is a disappointing master of none, because it tries to appeal to all. Just modern blockbuster in every single way. That if like, and I only say that to say that every passing day a 2026 blockbuster is becoming my least favorite type of movie. So I struggle to actually think I'd ever watch this actively at home, just because it has so much of modern filmmaking I don't enjoy. But if you watch it, that's great. I hope you did. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing Scary Movie.